How's it going?
Back in here again for this.
Good.
You got any good questions?
You know me, Gaffer, honestly. Never.
That means no.
Good to go, Gaffer, yeah.
I'm good to go.
Steve, good to see you again. Another squad announcement day. It's been a quick turnaround again, hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit shorter between the games this time, so that's good. That's a positive. Obviously trying to build on the feel-good factor. We finished the last camp in a good place, so 2 big games again and looking forward to both.
Of course, we will touch on the squad, but it feels right to look back at what was a hugely successful camp, given everything that came with it as well, the COVID situations, injuries, a lot of pressure in that camp in general, wasn't there? How was it within the group?
That was obviously a pivotal week in terms of qualification or potential qualification out of the group, so we needed a good week. We knew we needed a good week. As you touched on, lots of COVID issues, lots of injuries. Definitely the most intense camp, the most difficult camp in the lead up to the first game against Denmark away, which was never going to be an easy game, and it turned out that way. But from there, I mean, even in that game, I thought we showed good resilience. We started the game slow. The Danes started very well, got us on the back foot, but we managed to dig in. Okay, we lost the game, but we didn't finish the game in such a bad place, and it stood us in good stead for the next 2 games.
Yeah, it certainly did. And you've spoke previously as well about getting victories against teams lower seeded than us, but then being able to build and turn in performances like we did against Austria. How much pressure did you feel going into that Austria game, and how was it amongst the players?
I feel pressure every time I go to a game with Scotland, because you don't want to let the country down. I said after the last camp how much I love my players, but you've got to remember these players love playing for their country, and I think that shines through. It shows all the time. Every time I work with them, every game they go to, they want to win, they want to be successful. They want to be remembered as a really good group of players, squad of players, whatever you want to call them. And I think that's really important for us in terms of now and also in the future.
Yeah, and when we see you naming your squad today, there is an element of consistency that we keep on seeing. Is that clear for you to see? Are you seeing a lot of growth amongst the group in that consistency as well?
I think I've always tried to be pretty consistent with the core of the squad. It is important, because when you come together, you're not going over old ground. I think if you look at the evolution of the squad over the last couple of years since I've been in charge, there has been quite a bit of change, but the core group has remained pretty constant, and that means that the core message has also remained pretty constant, and we've built on that. We've got better. Like I said before, I've got a group of players that are desperate to do well for their country. We're really proud to qualify for the first tournament in 20 odd years, but now I've got a group of players that are desperate to qualify again, and there's nothing better than that. I think the fans are buying in. You see that. I think a sellout for Israel, which is fantastic. We've now got 4 games left in the group, and we need to get a decent points total to make sure that the worst we do is finish second, and if we do that, we get a chance in the playoffs again.
Familiar opponents coming up obviously in Israel as well, but how it's quite special the way it's panned out, hasn't it, that we are going to be here at Hampden with a packed crowd who did miss it, and the Scotland fans are really looking forward to almost having that playoff that they missed, if you like, here against Israel.
Yeah, it's a big game for both countries. As I said right at the start when we first came up against Israel, they're a good team. I think people probably believe me a little bit more now than they did then. They are a good team, they've got dangerous players, well organised, and don't forget, for them it's also a massive game. So in the context of the group, and trying to finish second in the group is a big game for both countries. So I'm sure it'll be a tight affair. All the games have been. There's not a lot between the 2 sides, and hopefully on the night we get it right.
We spoke about consistency, but one of the new faces out with the squad is obviously Austin, who will be able to join up now. How excited are you to bring him into your coaching staff, and what do you expect him to offer?
Austin gives us a little bit different. I'm the type of manager or head coach, as my title is here, head coach, that I'm not afraid to try different things. Austin's got good ideas in certain areas of the game that we hope will make us better, and you're always looking for that little extra 1, 2, 3% that can maybe get you an extra couple of points in the group, and an extra couple in the points. An extra couple of points might be enough to get us a qualification, so if Austin can help, then that'll be great.
Of course, and Stephen Naismith, we saw the impact that he had as well. You must have been pleased with him coming in at fairly late notice into that group as well.
Stephen did great for me just to step up at the last minute, help John Carver and myself out going into the game. I've managed to keep Stephen on board for this game, or the games coming up, which is great. He's enthusiastic. He's very, very positive. Even as a player, Stephen was always one of the positive ones. Never dwelt too much on the negatives. And the more positive people you've got around the camp, then the better for everyone.
And just to finish off, Steve, we've not really discussed the squad in depth, all the faces. We touched about the consistency, but crucially a lot of returning faces that will boost us. Scott, obviously, in midfield is back in there. John McLaughlin's back available as well. So that's encouraging to have them back.
No, I think so, and it's important for everyone that you get your best players fit and available. I mean, I've still got one or two little fitness doubts. When you look at the squad, obviously Callum McGregor hasn't been playing recently, but I'm sure that he's on the mend, and hopefully will be involved at some stage over the next couple of games for Celtic. Similar with Stuart Armstrong. Also had an injury, but training again this week, so hopefully some minutes on the pitch and getting them all together end of next weekend and hopefully in a good place. And like I said, massive weekend. But listen, when you're representing your country, or you're trying to get your country to a World Cup finals, every game's massive.
Absolutely. Steve, well, as always, thanks for your time and all the very best for the games coming up.
Thank you, Lewis.